Raila Amolo Odinga is truly a once-in-a-generation leader, a man whose ideals transcended politics and whose legacy will shape Kenya's destiny for generations to come. President William Ruto announced the demise of former Premier on 15th October 2025. On the 15th October 2025, the mortal journey of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga came to an end. But his spirit is immortalized in the story of a life that began on the 7th of January, 1945. For 80 years, he embodied resilience, boundless optimism, a will to test limits, ventured into new frontiers and imagined new horizons, all in a steadfast love for country. He was a leader who never wavered in his belief in the good of his people. Raila Odinga lived a life of purpose. He chose to fly high, urged the nation to dare, and challenged Africa to fight for its place in the world and retrace the dreams of the continent's founders. Over the past 3 years, we have witnessed an outpouring of emotions of a nation gripped in grief. Africa has grieved for him. Indeed, the world has grieved for him. Our nation and the world struggling with the question, did we really know him in his fighting to find hope in his enduring legacy? Raila Odinga may not have been there to fight the country's war for independence, but he bows out as an undisputed leader of the national rebirth of the Kenyan nation. He easily became the bridge between our generation and that of our grandfather, the late Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, who fought for our country's independence from colonialism. He learned at the feet of Kenyans and Africa's most revered leaders. He witnessed the liberation ideals and struggles of Pan-African heroes, including our grandfather Jaramogi, Jomo Kenyatta, Julius Nyerere, Kwame Nkrumah, Gamal Abdel Nasser, and Kenneth Kaunda, among others. He followed and internalized Nelson Mandela's struggles and agreed with his philosophy that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. That the brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Raila conquered fear and mastered courage. Possibility of death in pursuit of an ideal was not a reason for Raila to retreat, for he also internalized William Shakespeare's words that cowards may die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once. It is from that perch that Raila began his own long walk for freedom and liberation, applying himself to the cause as a debt owed to past and due to the present generations. Many times he appeared to be on a cause much larger than himself, a mission almost impossible, but he seemed to be the way he loved it. He gave his life for it. In emulating the giant steps of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, our grandfather, and the spirit of selflessness that ran deep in his heritage, Raila Odinga, just as his father once declared that he could be no freedom for the release, without the release of their leader Jomo Kenyatta, proclaimed Kibaki Tosha, a declaration that propelled NARC to bring an defining act was emblematic of the man himself. Raila Odinga was Raila Odinga. He never cared what others thought about him or his actions. He cared whether people bought into his vision and mission. Once he felt he had the mandate of the people, there would be no turning back. In the process, he became Kenya's ultimate political prisoner and one of Africa's best-known freedom fighters, a dedicated and down-to-earth servant of the people of Kenya. a headache to the corrupt elite, and a beacon of hope for those struggling for freedom, not only in Kenya, but across Africa and beyond. Generations to come will honor him and offer gratitude. Raila Odinga cared deeply about Africa and worried eternally about its decline. For that, he applied himself to peace and reconciliation missions across the continent whenever called upon. During the 90s, he worked closely with the International Republican Institute as a resource person for peace and conflict resolution in the then war-torn countries of Mozambique and Burundi, and offered similar support to peaceful electoral processes in Nigeria and Zimbabwe. He mastered Africa's conflicts and the forces and issues behind them. The highest executive position he ever rose to was that of Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya, following the signing Reconciliation Act 2008, which created the office to facilitate power sharing after the